Alright, our next step is to create the base of our mummy, and we're going to do that just like we did the top. You'll take your 2 dowel rods, you'll lay them next to your piece of clay, you'll take your rolling pin and you're just going to roll back over this. Take the mummy template once again. This time we're just going to go ahead and cut on through. Alright, go ahead and peel the base of your mummy up just so it's not stuck to your mat too much. And now we're going to add the walls. The first thing we need to do is go ahead and take our toothbrush, and we really need to score and slip around the base of our mummy. Now I'm scoring and slipping actually on the base. I am not doing the sides. Our walls are going to sit on top of the base, not next to it. So be sure that you're paying attention when you go to put this on. You want to really make sure you score around the edges really well. And then on the side of the wall that will actually be attached, you want to take your toothbrush and you just want to score down that as well. When you go to attach the walls, there's going to be a seam. There's going to be a spot where these walls come together, and you really want that to be on the side of your mummy. We would not want our walls to come together at the end, because that's where we're going to be cutting the cork to insert our artifacts later, and we really want that to be a solid piece. So when you do this, you need to plan for your mummy's walls to touch on one side. The best way to do that is to go ahead and just make yourself a little place, just a little light mark. You're going to carefully take your walls and you're just going to start placing your wall around your mummy. You want to make sure that you press firmly, but not so much that you start to collapse your wall. And you're going to go around the entire shape of your mummy base. Alright, now as you can see, I have way too much space or I have way too much wall left over. So I'm going to take my wood tool and I'm just going to slice off what I do not need. And then you just want to carefully, you're going to want to score and slip those two side pieces together. And then you want to just carefully make sure, go around and check and make sure you've got your wall lined up the best you can with the shape of your mummy base. Alright, for this next step, we're going to get a little better view of the side of our mummy so you can really see what's going on. We have to absolutely make sure that our base and our walls are attached all the way around so that our mummy is nice and strong, and we can seal this up to make it into a time capsule. So what you want to do first is just take your finger and keep one hand kind of along the inside of the wall you're working with, and you just want to start to smear your base and your wall together, just like this. And you also want to start to smear that seam that we scored and slipped earlier and smooth that out so we can no longer see it. So just take your fingers and you're gonna go all the way around your mummy. So you're gonna do one side, spin it with your mat, and you're gonna continue to go all the way around on all sides of your mummy to get that really nice and put together. Take some time. This is the only point during this project where you're going to have access to the inside of your mummy. So you want to make sure, and let me just tilt this up so you can kind of see, you want to make sure that you go around those inside seams as well. So just take your finger and work around to kind of move that clay and really get that nice and sealed on the inside. Once you have completed the inside and the outside, you're going to take the other end of this little green tool, and it looks like a fork, and we're just going to take it and we're just going to move some more clay over that seam to really make sure that this is sewn together well. I'm going to go in all directions. It's going to create a really cool texture along the edge of your mummy. And again, this is something that you would do on all sides. Okay, once we have our walls securely on the base of our mummy, it's time to add the top back to it. And what we're going to do, we're going to score and slip the top of our walls. Make sure you really do that well so that your mummy will be nice and attached. And then we want to score and slip the back side of our top. Now be careful while you've got it in your hand so that you don't mash it or flatten it against your hand and your wrist too much. Alright, score and slip that really well. We're going to flip it over and we're just going to really gently place the lid of our mummy onto our walls. Now you may have to gently push the walls in to get everything lined up, and just work with it a minute until you've got it, you know, where it kind of makes you happy. Be really careful at this point, because if you press down on the middle of these, it will want to fold and cave in. So you really need to be mindful of what you're doing. You need to be gentle. You need to work carefully. Don't get in a big hurry, because this is one of the most important parts. All right, now again, just like we did with the base, we're going to take our fingers and we're going to start to seal this side of our mummy. So you're just going to want to smear the clay down or up, whichever is easier for you. And you want to make sure that you go around every single edge. So around the top of the head, down both sides, and around the end of the base. And then you want to take your tool and you just want to start to sew those sides together, moving that clay across the seam to really make sure that that mummy stays together. Go ahead and scratch down all the sides to kind of get all of that with the same texture, because like I said, when we do apply our paint at the end, it's going to create a really cool effect. The last thing we're going to do is add a few final details to the top. You can take a small piece of clay, roll it into a small coil, and we're just going to create a piece for the top of the headdress. Some kids want to make a snake, or you know, there's just lots of different things that you could do, but it basically just looks like a little coil, just a little curved over piece that you score and slip, and then just press that to the top to complete the headdress. And then a lot of kids also want to add a beard. Again, you're just going to take a small piece of clay, shape it with your fingers, roll it into a coil, however you would like to do that, score and slip, and then just press that